All around me are about 75 black-tailed prairie dogs that are getting ready to get loaded up into some cargo vans and driven down into Mexico.
The Arizona Game and Fish Department is taking these prairie dogs south of the border to restore a population near the city of Cananea that disappeared over a decade ago. Black-tailed prairie dogs were once considered pests. They were shot and poisoned for decades, and by the 1960s they were extirpated from Arizona. We now know that prairie dogs are critical to a healthy grassland ecosystem. So in 2008, Arizona Game and Fish began reintroducing black-tailed prairie dogs to their historic range in southern Arizona. Today, the critters are thriving on this private ranch in Sonora, so much so that Game and Fish is sharing some of them with its conservation partners in Mexico.
When we were first reintroducing in Arizona, we had gotten a shipment of prairie dogs from Mexico that helped us build some of our colonies here in the state. And we had always promised that we would return the favor and give prairie dogs back to Mexico once we had enough.
These prairie dogs have all been microchipped so individuals can be identified. And Game and Fish veterinarians examined and gave them medications to eliminate parasites.
We did our examination, make sure they all look healthy and ready to go, no signs of infectious diseases, and we give them each 2 different types of dewormer, making sure we're not transferring any parasites into their new environment.
Staff and leadership from CEDES, the Commission of Ecology and Sustainable Development for the State of Sonora, are helping with the translocation.
Oh, and if we put one on top, you could loop the top.
And an agricultural inspector from Mexico monitors the operation every step of the way.
So we are very deliberate about which prairie dogs go into which cage. Prairie dogs have a really complex social structure, and so we do our very best to trap them as family groups and keep their groups together and then recreate the same colony that they came from back at their release colony.
As the prairie dogs are loaded into cargo vans, the inspector ensures that each cage is locked and will remain that way until the prairie dogs reach their release site. After spending the night in the vans, the prairie dogs are now heading to the Douglas port of entry. After they arrive, there's a long wait as permits are verified.
Health certificates, importation permits, transportation, release permits, capture permits, you name it.
Finally, the translocation team and the black-tailed prairie dogs are back on the road and heading to their new home in Mexico.
You know, the folks are super excited to have them back, so they're going to a super welcome home.
It's really just an extension of the habitat they left in Arizona. The new colony will be on a private ranch several miles south of the border.
So just because it's, you know, the border between countries for us doesn't mean it's a different grassland for them. So it's the same valley, you know, that stretches from Arizona into Mexico.
Number 2.
We're going to first set out the cages at each of the burrows that we're going to be releasing them at, and then
Game and Fish, Non-Game Small Mammals program, as well as our Borderlands program, have been working with CEDES down in Sonora to help prep the site and make sure that everything is ready to go.
They removed invasive mesquite and built artificial burrows to give the prairie dogs a head start.
We try to make the release as easy on them as possible. So we put them into their burrow systems with their family groups, and we cover those with acclimation cages so that they, you know, have a safe place to be in while they're adjusting. Those will be on for 2 weeks, and they'll get fed and watered during that time, just to kind of ease the transition and make sure they stay put where we put them on the landscape and start recognizing that as their new home.
In this burrow here, we're gonna have 6 prairie dogs.
there's a little chamber underneath the ground about 6 feet, and then they have 2 entrance tubes that lead up to the ground for them to get in and out of their new home before they start digging all of their own tunnel systems.
Once they're down in their burrows, the folks from CEDES down in Sonora will be there taking care of them every day and doing monitoring every day for the first 2 weeks. And then they'll monitor them weekly for the next couple months, and then after that, at least on a monthly basis.
Dejo que se metan solitos y le tapo el otro lado.
Arizona Game and Fish hemos trabajado más de 30 años compartiendo.
Arizona Game and Fish we have worked with for more than 30 years, sharing ecosystems and species, supporting the restoration of species of interest in both Sonora and Arizona. We've had very strong agreements for more than 30 years, and each year will strengthen our actions for species conservation.
Para la conservación de las especies.
Before this work started, Sonora was down to just one colony of black-tailed prairie dogs.
Last year, our partnership resulted in establishing a new colony in this private ranch, and in 2025, we're coming back here to establish a second colony. So right now we have 3 colonies existing in northern Sonora, and hopefully we'll continue with this successful partnership.
Oh, it feels amazing. It's good to have them back in this colony. After a long trip from Arizona, they're back in Sonora.